Welcome to Art Tech Talk. So, Tilina, Oreo is out.
Yeah, finally they have put a name to it, right?
Yes. So, it's if you love Oreos. So, it has been, Android has always been named as a candy, right?
Yeah,
Like-
desserts.
Like what Apple does with their Mac OS, it's always been lions.
And also now they have turned to parks and mountains, right?
Yes. They are run out of lions. So, the biggest one is these days the launch of the Note 8.
Yeah.
So, it's not the 7.
Mhm.
I'm not going to do any exploding jokes this time. So
Cool
basically,
thing about Note is calling the stylus, right?
yes,
I mean, Samsung was going to introduce the stylus to low-end phones also, but they haven't done it for the world market, right? I hear it's available on China, but I don't know. I haven't seen a low-end phone here with the stylus.
I feel like we're going back
Mhm.
because when touch screen first came out,
Yeah,
you couldn't really touch it.
yeah,
So you had to have a stylus, right? I mean, when especially the touch devices came as Windows CE running on them,
yeah,
and there were certain Sony phones running Symbian as well, right?
Yeah.
Each and every time you having one of those, you always had one of those styluses, right? It's just basically a piece of
yeah.
plastic.
But I feel like calling it if say the user is an old person, it might be easier for them to use a stylus than using the touch, right? Old people sometimes have different difficulties getting
But is
used to the touch.
But
so,
I mean, like I've seen phones that actually designed for elders, which
Yeah.
has bigger numbers on
Right.
them, and
Right.
I mean it's done in a way that actually caters that requirement, right? I mean, it's fine you have all these accessibility features on those,
yeah,
but I feel like it's not the case, right? I mean, I understand you're getting a stylus on an iPad
for designers.
for designers, right?
Yeah.
I understand you're getting a stylus on even a laptop, right? Because you get more control. Because earlier it used to be a dumb stylus, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't smart,
Yeah.
right? Now it's smart in most cases, like especially the Apple Pen.
You can like put pressure and it will detect
The way
what
you hold
amount
it.
of pressure you are putting into the pen.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I mean, let us know what you feel, because I think where this stylus is coming into is areas where they are still trying to notice, but they always advertise it as a hand recognition device, right?
Note literally means you can take notes with it, right?
So I think that's the whole concept behind it. You can cut things, you can you can write things, you can copy paste it, you can edit things with the natural
Since
flow.
they have a stylus, they have added more features to it,
Yes.
like cutting and moving stuff around, that kind of thing.
So it's fine. I mean, that's the first one you're going to lose as well. That's my stylus. But Dylan, we were joking about this way before. I mean, people losing things. Remember when Apple earbuds came out?
Yeah,
We thought everyone going to lose them, right?
yeah,
Apparently not.
yeah.
People don't lose them as much as we thought.
I've seen some recent Apple patents with the stylus support on iPhone also, so maybe
Yeah.
the trend is stylus. Again.
So because I mean we are all going back in terms of tech. I feel now the vinyls has been coming out. When I say vinyl, those are the LP records you used to play when you. I mean, if you're born in my age, you know what a LP record is, right? So now it's coming back, right?
Huge discs.
See, even Sony started making these things, right? People are buying cassettes now. Literally audio cassettes, right? There's a different following for audio cassettes. So again, it's like the fashion, how fashion works, right?
Yeah,
Selena?
yeah. It's a
So it
circle.
always comes back, right?
Yeah.
So similarly,
Cycle.
I think tech has come to a point where there's no innovation happening. People are going back and adapting the technology they used to have.
Yeah.
But personally, I mean, stylus is a good thing if you're really into, let's say, taking documentation, taking notes, if you're like in a hurry to get things
The thing
done.
is, calling it tech has also given the opportunity where screens are very crisp and the lag is not there anymore. The processing power is really good. So
Especially when you're drawing something, because you're just drawing a line and you can't wait for 2 seconds for that line to appear.
now the
right?
stylus feels very close to the real thing. So I think that's and also an
I think that's one of the reason people use what do you call this artistic pad, like
Vacuums,
drawing pad,
yeah.
Vacuums. I mean, there are a lot of. I mean, Vacom is the famous one,
Yeah.
right? So you still use that, and it appears on your screen because the processing power between the touch screen and the computer, there was a little bit of a lag.
Yeah.
So because if you are an artistic person, if you want to do this, and if you don't want to wait, like couple of seconds to see what you're doing.
And they also used to be very expensive, right?
Yes, but I think this trend was bought by not Apple, Microsoft,
Yeah.
with the Surface. Microsoft Studio is an amazing device, right?
Yeah.
I mean, everyone says that's the best computer for artists. Not Apple. That's surprising, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Microsoft has come a long way, and Apple has gone down on the innovation, right?
Yeah.
Nothing has coming out. They're just following. I mean, iOS, we knew they're following Android route, but in terms of what these guys are doing, it's something different, right?
Yeah.
So let us take a small break right now and see you after this. So before the break, we were talking about whether Note 7 is Note 8 rebadged or whether it's been pimped updated, right?
Yeah.
Let's go through the specification one at a time. So when I say one at a time, it's not going to be that detailed, but so obviously basic things, I'm not going to go into the 4G and all that. The size wise, it's, well, the Note 8 is bigger. So it's about 116 centimeters by 7.4 centimeters by
And they have
8.6.
dual cameras as well, right?
Yes. So if you go into Note 7, it's much smaller. It's about 153 millimeter. That's about 15.3 centimeters, and width is almost the same, Tilina.
Yeah.
It's about 7.3 centimeters, and thickness is so the Note 7 has lesser thickness than the Note 8. So Note 8 is about 8.6 millimeter. That's almost a centimeter, right? And the Note 7 is 7.9 millimeter. It's almost a centimeter, well, half a centimeter basically. Weight is 195 grams for the Note 8 and then 169 for the Note 7. So it's more little bit heavier than the Note 8. So well, when I say Note 8 is a little heavier than Note 7.
Right.
When you go with the screen, it's Gorilla Glass. Obviously, it's going to be, right. And it's both IP68 certified, and those are not. Both has a stylet, both has Samsung Pay, which is not available here, but soon to be launched. Then you get the 16 million color AMOLED screen, both has AMOLED. So the Note 8 had a 6.3 inch screen, and then the Note 7 has a 5.7 inch. But if you get the screen to body ratio, so this is a new measurement till you do.
Right.
So screen to body ratio is on the front. How much is the screen and how much is the body, right?
Yeah. Everyone is trying to like.
I mean, so the best ideal is 100%, but obviously you can't due to the certain limitation. Not yet. So it's 83.2 for the ratio for the Note 8 and 78 for the Note 7. So this brings back to me, I'll derail from this a little. So I mean, the biggest problem is the speaker, right?
Yeah.
So when you hold the phone to your head, you have to have a speaker, right?
Yeah.
Mic, you can forget about it because the mic is obviously not going to be on the front, it's going to be under the. So speaker and the front camera and the proximity sensor. So when you take it to your ear,
and you might have LED with notification light.
Right. I think in that sense, there's one phone that came with a U-cut, the essential phone.
Yeah.
So they actually made the screen and made a small cut for the camera. So you can do the same for the speaker, you might think, right?
Yeah.
But Tilina, Sony has been doing amazing thing. Sony has been actually making screens, especially TVs, the AMOLED series.
Yeah.
The screen itself can produce sound.
Right.
So actually there's no speakers, right?
So no separate device for speaker.
So okay, then well, if you go into that detail, so what will happen is the screen itself produce sound. So one might think the screen might be vibrating. That's what you see on a speaker, right? When the sound comes out, the speaker vibrates, right? So speaker vibrates still because it's going into these low frequencies where bass sounds coming out, right?
Okay.
So Sony, what they have done was they have got the voice plus the upper frequencies, like your cymbals and all that, and plus the most important is the voice, right? On a TV, that comes out of your screen,
right?
But bass sound, they have a special small speaker separately for bass sounds.
Preferably under the
TV. Yeah. So what happens is all the TVs are out there right now, most of them are down firing speakers. So actually the speakers are inside facing down, right? Okay. So the sound waves to travel, it has to bounce to a wall, it's bounced through something and it has to come to you. But but you sit in front of the screen, right? When the screen is itself is producing this sound, you get a much clearer, wider sound stage, right? So I think this can be done. I mean, not tried now, but if this actually proven to be working and reliability is one of the keys, right?
Yeah.
So if that's the fact, we can actually make the screen sound. Then you don't have to have space for the speaker.
Yeah.
So the camera is another thing, right? Camera can be even under the screen where it's like even a small dot, right?
Yeah.
Sensors again can be, they're light driven, right? So again, those can be manipulated in a way through the glass, right? So I think the 100% not like
theoretically possible, right?
Theoretically possible, right? So what now a lot of people are trying to do is get the fingerprint going.
Yeah.
So they want to have the fingerprint reading capability within the screen itself. That might be taking a long time. That's what we heard, right? Apple was trying to do it, Samsung was trying to do it. So, but in terms of available technology, what I said is available. So the speaker can be rolled out.
Yeah.
But then they need to figure out how you make it only a location that makes a sound, not the entire screen. So those are little things you have to work out, but it's doable, right? So the resolution, Tilina, if you go back to the comparison, so it's the same, right? 1440 by 2960 pixels is 4K screen, right? But if you go into the pixel density, so the density is PPI, pixel per inch, right? So if you take a 1 inch square, how many dots are there? That's the measurement, right?
Yeah.
More dots you have, better the experience, right? So on the Note 8, it's 521. On the Note 7 is 518. So now you can see, because the screen size is small on the Note 7, you get more dots per an inch. So that gives you a more crisper look than a Note 8, I think. So it's so HDR10 compatible. So HDR is the newest thing, right? In terms of video, what everyone says is a lot of people thought it's going to be 3D.
Yeah.
It's not. Lot of tech guys I knew were rooting for 4K than 3D. I think they were right. Now it's 4K plus HDR is the best experience. But sadly, there's no content out there. I mean, like, it's a really limited amount of content, but it's coming out.
Yeah. But the phone software in the phone itself, they have improved with the software and everything to support really good HDR quality pictures.
So the problem with HDR is still there's no real standard for it now.
Yeah.
You know, like Dolby has their Dolby Vision, and then HDR is there, HDR10 is there. Those standards.
Everyone is doing their own thing. Right?
So again, it's like Dolby versus DTS, right? That's the issue they have. We have to take a small break right now. See you after this break. Welcome back. So we were talking about before the break lot of things, but we were still on the Note 8.
Yeah.
So the last one was HDR. So HDR is something to experience. I always think that people should experience. So for you to experience HDR, you need to have HDR capable TV.
Yeah.
Make sure it has a Blu-ray player which HDR capable, and a Blu-ray movie and a disc that's been done in HDR, that's there, right? So that's the way to try it out there. So if you have a Note 8, you can actually experience it if there are content, or you can even shoot yourself, right? Because the camera supports HDR. So you can shoot some videos and you can watch yourself. So that's one thing, Thilin. And then if you go into the Android version, 7.1 Nougat is there. I'm sure Oreo will come in.
Yeah.
And then graphic is the same processor. No, it's not. I thought it's the same. So it's fine. It's octa-core, 2.3 gigahertz. So it's 2.3 gigahertz octa-core as well on both in terms of speed, but two different processors. If you go into expandability, both support SD cards, right?
Yeah.
Samsung still dedicated to doing this, right?
Yeah, I mean, with high quality video and photo, it's pretty good, right? People has the choice to like put a bigger storage and record pretty good quality videos and.
This is one of the downfalls in Apple, right?
Yeah.
So because if you buy, I mean, Apple phones are pretty expensive if you go into the 256 realm.
Yeah.
So if you want to get a 256,
and Kalinga, the news is they are going to do a 512 version this time.
Yeah.
Because the rumors are that they are going to support 4K video recording.
Finally.
So
will it be a HD screen?
Let's see how it will turn around. I mean.
So imagine you are making 4K videos, not having a HD screen, not even HD screen, and trying to watch it. Why is Apple is not even doing HD, full HD?
Let's see how it goes this time. But this time,
it's not like they can't do it, right?
OLED thing. So let's see how it will turn around.
I think it's high time Apple put a 4K screen, right? I mean, Apple displays are actually good, right?
Yeah.
When you look at Apple phone, you always, because I think one of the reason is how they, they scrutinize a lot of things, right? They scrutinize how the icon should be, what the resolution is, what the color is, and all that, right? So that when you look at it, even though it's not HD screen, you still feel like you're looking at something really nice.
Yeah.
But I think still now it's Adugane double as HD, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be 4K, right? Even these are not full 4K, but still something better than HD. What are the rumors in terms of iPhone, since we are on the topic?
Yeah, so this 512...
Not going to be cheap.
Yeah, so the lowest end is going to be right under $1,000, $999.
It's fine. I mean, Note 8 is €1,000, right?
Yeah. So Apple used to be in the range of $700.
Yeah.
Dollar range for the lowest end, but now they have gone to the 1,000 range markets, right? Yeah. So soon we will see phones with $2,000 range even. So I don't know how a phone will look like in $200 range.
Yeah, Apple wasn't scared, right? A lot of people, who would have thought that someone would pay? In Sri Lanka, it's about almost 180 to 190,000, right?
Yeah.
For a phone that only you're going to keep it for a year or two maximum, right?
Yeah.
People do.
Yeah.
And when the phone is, I know people when iPhones comes out, they want it now, and they pay a premium to get it. Because I know people who just fly it down the next day, right?
Yeah. So right after the release, it will be definitely around 200,000 rupees, right?
Exactly. So that's a tough one. Without SD card slot. So both Note 7 and 8 has SD card slot. That's a good one. You can go up to 256. In terms of capacity, you have the option to buy either 64, 128 or 256. Despite then you can actually even get the smaller one and put a SD card. But the sad reality behind SD cards are, Tilina, there are a lot of fake SD cards out there. There are a lot of specifications in SD cards.
And they have a numbering system 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, so you get so if you're doing 4K videos and you're trying to directly write into the SD card, I don't think it'll work.
Yeah.
Unless you're buying one of those high-end SD card which will cost same as your phone.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reason why when you're getting entry-level Android devices and you're putting something cheap SD card, you get a really bad experience, right? When you move your apps, when you move your photographs into the SD card, it takes long time. It doesn't respond. So I think that's one of the reason where Apple is not allowing this, because then Apple has the control over what kind of quality storage you get. I believe in that because I know a lot of people complain about their phone being slow and all that. Ultimately, when you look at it, it's just the SD card, right? So that's sad reality. That's one of the reason I think these guys are trying to do this.
Yeah, I mean, if you're spending this much of amount of money on a phone, please put a really good SD card. Otherwise, the experience is going to be
So I mean, that's just another sad reality in a lot of. I mean, especially in Sri Lanka, you buy the expensive device, but you don't then buy the necessary equipment need for that device, right? Ali aragena hendo ganna wage kind of situation is where, especially I've seen people buying really good TVs. They buy really good TVs and they still plug that red, white and yellow plugs and watch DVDs, right?
No HDMI or nothing.
No, not even HDMI, right? So I mean, you have to upgrade. I mean, it's the chain, right? It's the weakest link in. So you might spend millions of dollars on something and put something really cheap. So it's gonna be good as the cheapest equipment on your chain, right?
Yeah, and also if you had a dial-up connection for the old TV and you got a new one with HD screen, you can just call them and ask for a HD supported.
Yeah, now I think the two cable providers in Sri Lanka, the satellite and the IPTV provider, both of them support HDMI now. HD content is not there, but at least it's better than going through that analog era, because analog is no more except for audio, which they're trying to bring back. So going through this phone again, we want the capacity, and it's a dual 12 megapixel camera. So dual cameras is the new thing. You get dual cameras. So the Note 7 only had one. So that's the difference between a year's worth of progress. You're making two cameras. So will it be two phones next time? Then
two cameras on the front, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, apart from that, it's almost the same. I mean, the front camera is 8 megapixel. Even that has HDR on it. Note 7 had a 5 megapixel. So it has higher resolution audio as well, Tilin. I mean, if you are really into this. So the Note 8 has 32-bit 384 kilohertz audio, which is like the highest end you can get into, right? And then the Note 7 only had 24-bit 196. I mean, if you compare this with the CD, Tilina, CD is a 16-bit 44.1 kilohertz, right?
Yeah.
And now we are talking about 32 bits, 384 kilohertz. So it's basically HD audio. So that's going to be amazing. Both has Wi-Fi. The Note 8 comes with Bluetooth 5 and the Note 7 comes with Bluetooth 4.2. And then you get the GPS, GLONASS, USB Type-C connector 3.1. So it's a great phone, and the last one is the battery life. So the battery on the Note 8 is smaller than the Note 7's battery. So this has 3,300.
So they have learned the lesson, right?
They have learned the lesson. You can't get more out of that's already is. So this is 3,300 milliamp hours. So what they say is you can have 22 hours of 3G. 74 hours of standby.
Okay.
That's not bad, right? For a phone, and it's starting around 1,000 euros. Not cheap. Would I recommend buying a Note 8? Yes. I've seen it. I mean, it's great. That phone is amazing if you want to buy, if you're into Note series. But if you're into a phone, if you have smaller hands, I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah, but wait at least 2 weeks, right?
See, I said I'm not going to joke about it. So that's all the time we have for today. So if you have any comments, if you want to know anything about it, how you can get in touch with us is quite simple. It's arttechtalk@takaslk.com or visit the Art TV Facebook page and drop us a message. So have a great week and see you next week.